Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. And this month, the Stamping Society is using our favorites from the new Mini Catalogue. And Menagerie Mix-Up was the top of my list. Now, I know you're thinking, there's so much work to this. But you don't have to stamp and color. We are just going to do some die cutting. And I'm going to change the background for the card that we're making because I feel like this one's a little busy and it kind of gets lost. And because this stamp set has no sentiments, I am bringing in, I say bringing in because we're bringing in freezing fun for the sentiments. These are adorable, but I only just received this last week and I just haven't had time to play with it. And I know Menagerie Mix-Up is kind of a sleeper. There's not a whole lot of people using it. So I wanted to give you a couple of quick ways that you can use it. And you don't even have to use all three of these guys. You could just do one. But we are bringing in another bundle because in order to recreate this card, we need the Have a Hoot bundle, or at the very least the dies, because we need this as our frame. Now, another thing I'm going to do a little bit differently is I'm going to pop this up using either dimensionals or a foam adhesive sheet. And I'm leaning towards the foam adhesive sheet. So, but first, I'm not going to do both at the same time because I find whenever you attach cardstock or DSP to the foam adhesive sheets and try and die cut both at the same time by trying to save yourself a step, you end up with too many indentations. So we're going to do both of them separately because I want this DSP to look gorgeous. We're going to take this piece and we're going to do the same thing. So these pop out and can be used again, or for the very first time. So what I'm going to do is peel this off, try and get it not to stick to me, and I am very carefully going to make sure it lines up because once it's down, there's no moving it. It's so sticky it actually came off on my nail. Speaking of nails, I have just started doing GelMoment as a distributor. So if you would like to know more about my nails and doing gel polish at home that is non-toxic and amazing, just send me a message. Not my smoothest cut. And now I'm going to trim this down to 5.5. Let's take some off the bottom. And now we can just take some of the excess pieces that I have from other projects and pop that in that empty space. Okay, so there is the base done. I might recommend taking more off at the top than the bottom. These are going to be a little close to the bottom, but that's okay. It's not like we have a sentiment or anything going at the bottom, so there we go. Now we can start with our little animals. Now I am just using cardstock. I'm not stamping these. So I've got some soft suede here. Don't need the stamps. I'm going to do this little rounded rectangle for the head. I need one of these bodies. I need one of these in, I'm using Sahara sand instead of crumb cake this time, just because I had it handy. We need these little antlers, and I might suggest stamping the antlers because they do end up looking kind of wide and they don't necessarily have any detail in them. And we're going to use these little ears, and we want this nose or like muzzle. I think that's it for the reindeer. I lied. We do need the stamp because we need to stamp the candy cane and the gift. And because I'm coloring those with Stampin' Blends, I will be stamping them with Memento. I didn't go quite far enough. You will definitely hear when you're die cutting the felt. It's an awful sound, but it doesn't hurt the machine. Here we've got our little nose. We've got our face, and one of the eyeballs stayed stuck. So let's, oh, one more piece. So for the penguin, I am using a balloon for the head. I tried looking for a punch that would work, and I couldn't find anything that was the right size, because it does need to connect to the body and it needs to fit the toque. And you can cut that little extra bit off or just leave it. No one's going to see it. So let's assemble. I'm going to bring this out here so you can see everything. And I am going to put that little weird balloon piece in his hat. So there we go. Isn't that cute? You just want to put a little bit of glue on here, because if you put too much, you will be able to see through to the front. I did that with the hat. I pressed it down a little too hard, and then all I could see was glue. So just put a little bit, enough to keep it there. And then for the nose, I tried keeping everything within this bundle. Whoops. There we go. And then just two little dots for his eyes. And I know this probably seems rather futile because you're not going to see, but I am going to do a little something to the eyes so that they are obvious. And then we're going to color this present. I used Misty Moonlight just because it matched the background. So let's do that again and keep it simple. And just so that I didn't have all of that white hanging around on the outside, I used some Balmy Blue so that it would blend in just a little more. So now what we can do is pick this guy up, and he is going to be in there. We're going to cut off his feet. I know, it feels awful, but we're going to cut his feet. And now remember, I didn't have it popped up, so I could kind of put them wherever I wanted. These guys are going to be down lower. They're not going to be popping up out, if that makes sense. So we'll put his gift on a dimensional. And then for the polar bear, we're going to put a little bit of glue on his body, like his neck. A little bit of glue where his muzzle is going to go. And the muzzle you'll be able to tell because there is an indent for the nose, so that if you wanted to draw it on, you'd be able to see it. So now we're going to put a little bit of glue for the nose, a very tiny bit for the mouth, some eyes, and let's put his ears together. Your take your pick tool will be your best friend putting these guys together. Oh, apparently his nose wants to go on now. And you can put this right side or upside down, totally up to you. I don't know where his mouth went. This is the issue with working on black. But I'm gonna put a little bit more glue on this petal pink, and then we can put the ears on. There's the eyeballs. There's one. There's two. That one's a tiny bit smaller. Probably shifted when I was die cutting. And worst case, we'll just do another mouth. I need to color his or her candy cane before I can put the hands on. So let's quickly do this. I think when I did my sample, I probably had a piece of paper underneath everything so that I could see it. I'm sorry I didn't think to do that for this. I mean, you haven't missed anything, but it is easier to see when it's not on a black surface. I don't know where that polar bear's mouth went. We'll just put a little bit of glue on the antlers. Oh, before I do that, I want to put, oh, there's the mouth. Nope, that's from this one. If you get any glue coming out of there, just kind of dab it with your fingers. Now, it makes me nervous working on the card base because if I get glue on there, I mean, I am covering it up, but okay, so he's gonna have ears that kind of come out. And then we can put some glue here. And now we're ready to do his face. Of course, it keeps wanting to go upside down. So the way that the muzzle cuts out, it has like this. I wanted to put that one upside down, but this is the right way. That's the way the muzzle imprint shows. Oh, I don't want to use that nose. I want to put on a gem. We want it to be Rudolph. So get these eyes on here. And if you don't want to fumble around with these eyes, just use some other gems that you have and paint them black. So with the wonderful gems, we're going to give him a little Rudolph nose. I forgot that both times. And he's done. I think we're gonna skip the mouth because I'm kind of liking them without. It gives a little more character. And one thing you could do that I didn't do on here is add a little bit of cheeks. You could use some petal pink or something and give them some nice rosy cheeks. I'm going to do a nice red and white candy cane. And I noticed when I did this the first time that I put the shadow on the outside, so I need to switch that up this time. So this is dark real red, just to coordinate with the hat and the scarf. And then as a final touch, we're going to add some Wink of Stella. But I just want to add a little bit of the light smoky slate to give the appearance of a shadow. And if you'd like, you can blend it out with the colorless, the color lifter. I only do that on the white part because I don't want to get rid of any of my red. But it does help to soften it a little bit. And it makes it look a little more realistic, truth be told. So now, I probably shouldn't attach this until I do this. So let's take this piece off. Let's rip the Band-Aid. It's a large Band-Aid, I know. This is going to go to the top and the bottom. You want to leave this similar size margin on both sides. You also want to get it right to the top, but I'm also not sitting right above it like I normally would be when I'm crafting. Okay, so now we have to cut off their little legs again, because they just won't fit with their legs in. I'm actually going to cut off a little bit of his chest too. I'm going to go on an angle that way because I want him kind of peering off to the right. There's the mouth. Darn little mouth. So we are going to pop these guys up on dimensionals because if I don't, they're going to sink down and I don't want that. And if you'd like, you could put something in the background, like stamp some snowflakes or something like that. I just figure I've taken more than enough of your time at this point that I don't want to do that. So all that's left are the sentiments after we pop this little gift up. And one more thing, but I need to do my stamping first. So I told you we were using the Freezing Fun stamp set. So I've taken a couple of the sentiments out and we are going to use Balmy Blue. And we're going to use 'Tis the Season to be Freezin'. And I didn't quite get my sticker on straight when I did this. So I need to overcompensate just a little. Not too bad. Now, if you have a little piece that didn't stamp like I do, it's because there's glue there, just take your fine end of your Stampin' Right marker and go in and fix it. And then you haven't wasted your whole card. Now for the snowflakes, I did Pacific Point for the sentiment and then Balmy Blue for the snowflakes, but this one we've used Balmy Blue for both. So I'm just going to stamp off, and I don't have anything but my basic black here. I don't want those to be more obvious than the sentiment. So we'll do the sentiment on the inside, and this one says, sending warmth your way, because it's 'tis the season to be freezin'. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll do our Balmy Blue stamped off, one like that. one upside down. There we go. And our one final step, and I'm telling you, it's not complete until you've done this part. We are going to use our shimmery crystal effects, and I'm going to add it just to their little eyeballs. It really helps to bring an animal to life when they have that little bit of shine in their eyes. We'll do the noses too. Actually, we might as well do the beak. I was going to do wink of Stella for that, but let's have them all be consistent. So you just put a tiny little drop on there, and it looks so gorgeous. I will use my wink of Stella for the candy cane, but I want to go over the white separately and then the red separately. I don't want them running together. And if I drag it across the whole thing, I end up with some pink because of the red. So I know that took a lot longer than I thought it would, but I hope that you enjoyed that. Let me know which one is your preference. If you like the original one that has this gorgeous DSP without the dimension, they're all just kind of flat, and the polar bear and the reindeer have their mouths. Or if you like this one where it's popped up, I really do think I should have stamped something on the inside there, but let me know which one's your favorite. I would love to know. And I hope that this inspired you. If you don't already have the Menagerie Mix-Up bundle, I hope it inspired you to give it a second look and purchase it if you don't already have it. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to get your hands on the tutorial for this month, because I have a fantastic card in there using this same bundle. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time here, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you soon, my crafty friends. Bye.